Hi everyone, this is Dr. Fox, and today I want to talk about the amazing and dramatic horror movie, Telekinesis. During childbirth, the woman is exhausted and in pain. She begs for help, thinking it's just a test. So, I decided to take the life of a newborn, but changed my mind at the last minute. Carrie, that's the name of the girl's daughter, grew up very shy. In gym class, when everyone else was playing volleyball, Carrie just stood on the sidelines. Her team lost the ball, but at the request of the teacher, the girl joined the game anyway. She accidentally hit a classmate on the head, for which she received an unkind review from the teacher. After the lesson, Carrie was in the shower and her period started, but she didn't know what was going on. Horrified, she asked the girls for support, but they humiliated her even more. Only Miss Desardin came to her rescue. The teacher decided to let Carrie go from physical education lessons for a week. She told the principal that she needed to talk to Carrie's mom about what happened. To which Carrie asked not to tell anyone and abruptly left. Upon arriving home, Carrie's mom pushed her into a closet and made her pray. She thought Carrie had done something wrong and tried to calm her down. After a while, the woman let her out and talked to her in kind words, trying to make peace. Just a week before graduation, Miss Desardin gave the students a lot of homework. She warned that if someone stopped studying, they would not be allowed to attend the graduation party. So she wanted every girl to put herself in Carrie's shoes and reflect on her behavior. The lesson was almost over, but one girl named Chris stopped working and was rude to the teacher. As a result, she was expelled, and she tried to seek support from her classmates, but no one could help her. Then Carrie went to the bathroom and went to the sink, where a mirror suddenly broke in front of her. This realization led her to realize that she had the power of thought, and with the power of her gaze, she began to lift fragments into the air using telekinesis. She was interrupted by another girl, and Carrie went to the library. She sat down at the computer next to a young man she liked. The girl started working. She was interested in everything related to magic and her gift. Carrie has not weakly pumped her skill, and in the lesson she used her mind to shake the school flag outside the window. Her teacher, Mr. Omen, interrupted her and asked her to go outside and read an excerpt from her favorite poem. After she read it, he noticed that she had said more than a year. The girl's mother, Tommy, came to the chemical cleaning where Margaret's mother worked. She wanted to pick up a dress for her daughter and apologized for the shower incident her daughter was involved in. Margaret pulled a sharp object out of her pocket and, unnoticed by the woman, began to bleed from her thigh. In the principal's office, Chris and his father were trying to regain their graduation rights. The father believed his daughter and did not want to hear any bad news because, according to his daughter, she had done nothing wrong. Ms. DiSardino suggested they look at her daughter's phone. There they will find a file that will reveal the truth. And the young woman began to panic. She felt guilty, so she just ran away. Carrie practiced telekinesis, and she was great at it. She could already move several objects at the same time. She liked it. The next day, Sue asked Tommy to take Carrie to the prom. Tommy thought it was a joke. Sue insisted it was serious. The boy found Carrie in the dining room. After an awkward start to the conversation, he asked her to come with him. Carrie thought he was joking and left. She went to the bathroom and started crying. Then Ms. DiSardino returned. The woman calmed Carrie down and said that maybe the guy really wanted to spend time with her. She told her how beautiful she was and that if Carrie put on a little makeup, she would become even more attractive. Tommy didn't give up. He came back to Carrie's house to ask her permission. This time, he made it clear that he would not leave until she said yes. Carrie agreed, but only on the condition that he would bring her home at 10:30 sharp. Carrie went to buy the material for her dress, but when she returned home, her mother forbade her to go to the prom. Carrie said, "I want to be myself, not someone else," and her mom started talking about how she might be hurt and she would send her away to pray again. Carrie stamped her foot and everything around her jumped, and then she mentally lifted her mother into the air and said, "No, Mom, I'm not going to listen to you." Carrie's mother called her a witch, but Carrie replied that witches do not exist and her abilities are inherited, since many people have this gift. As night fell, a group of unknown people led by Chris arrived at the farm to do something with Carrie. They entered the pig pen and slaughtered the poor animal. This was necessary in order to fill a bucket of blood and, using a mechanism, pour it on Carrie's head. Everything was ready for graduation, and Carrie was looking forward to meeting Tommy. However, her mother did not believe that Tommy would come, and offered to burn the dress and pray. Tommy, however, came anyway. Margaret started saying that Carrie shouldn't have been born because she was raped by Margaret's father. The girl did not listen to her and locked her mother in the closet with her mind, and then left with Tommy. The dancing started, and Tommy texted Carrie that everything was fine and she was great. He asked her to do a slow dance with him. At first Carrie refused, but then she couldn't resist. Tommy showed her how to dance, and she was really good at it. As they danced, they told each other how much they loved each other. Meanwhile, Margaret was still trying to get out of the closet, but she couldn't do anything. Same time, the school voted for the king and queen of the ball. Chris and her friends were already waiting for their plan to be implemented. They had already entered the room and were just waiting for the moment to strike. Tommy offered to give them votes, and Carrie was embarrassed, but he answered firmly. The voting ended, and the couple began to determine the winner. Chris sent a text to Sue saying that he was going to do something bad to Carrie. Then Sue went straight to school. Chris discreetly planted fake ballots. Carrie and Tommy won. They went on stage, and Carrie was standing right under a bucket full of blood. Chris was ready to pour out the blood, but Sue had just appeared and tried to stop what was happening. However, she was taken out of the room because they thought she was up to something evil, and then Chris poured blood right on Carrie's head. Then a video of Carrie's humiliation appeared on the screen. Everyone laughed. Miss Desardine tried to talk to Carrie, but Carrie pushed her away. Then the bucket of blood fell right on Tommy's face. Carrie was furious. She set off an explosion, scattering people and causing real chaos. She even killed 2 people and then used high-voltage cables to kill another girl. Later, when everyone had left the building, Carrie noticed the classmates' car. They tried to leave the city and agreed not to return. However, Carrie stopped them by making a hole in the road. The 2 were forced to turn back. They intended to run over the girl, but what could they do against telekinesis? The driver was killed, and only Chris was left alive. She tried to knock Carrie down again, but failed. The girl went home. She was looking for her mom, who had already come out of the closet. Then Carrie went up to the 2nd floor, where Margaret was once again allowed. The woman walked behind the girl. The girl washed her face of blood and regretted her actions. Later, she eventually met her mother and she told her that she would like to kill her after she was born, but could not. They began to pray together. Margaret stabs her daughter in the back. Exhausted, Carrie dropped her and crawled to the 1st floor, where the fight continued. Margaret could not resist the power of Carrie's thoughts, and she found herself chained to the closet door with knives. After a few seconds, Carrie realized what had happened. The girl let her mother go, but by then it was too late. Margaret died in Carrie's arms. Sue arrived and offered her help. However, Carrie lifted Sue into the air. Sue asked Carrie not to hurt her, but Carrie replied that she had been hurt all her life and she wanted her mother back. The house began to collapse, and the girls were on the verge of death. Sue decided to help Carrie by extending her hand, but Carrie threw her out of the house and she remained sitting with the late Margaret in her arms. Sue had a terrible nightmare. She was pregnant and expecting a baby, and maybe she would give birth to a second Carrie.